KPBS On Demand is supported by Alliance San Diego, reminding you to vote early. Return your ballot at any drop box or vote in person at any vote center. And remember, you have the right to vote as long as you're in line on Election Day by 8 p.m. Visit alliancesd.org for more.
Welcome in San Diego, it's Jade Hindman. On today's show, changes to CalFresh could mean thousands of people no longer receive benefits. We'll tell you how organizations are coming together to help. This is KPBS Midday Edition, connecting our communities through conversation. Thousands of people across San Diego County alone could lose their CalFresh benefits throughout the year. That's because a new set of rules go into effect today, tightening eligibility and expanding work requirements. For people, most people, I should say, will now need to work a certain number of hours to get CalFresh benefits, also known as SNAP, at the federal level. I'm here with Alondra Alvarado, President and CEO of the San Diego Hunger Coalition, and Angeles Nelson, a senior policy advocate at Nourish California. Alondra, Angeles, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having us here today.
So glad to have you both here. Alondra, I'll start with you on this. Let's talk about these new rules that go into effect today. What do people need to know?
Yeah, people need to know that some of the rules and work requirements are changing. So instead of these previous rules affecting adults between 18 and 54, these new rules are extended to people between 18 and up to 64 years old.
And so around how many people could this impact in San Diego County?
It's a little bit complicated for us right now, excuse me, to do specific data and have exact numbers because there are a lot of uncertainty or specific details that doesn't allow us to have an accurate number yet. But the estimations are between 67,000 and 96,000 people in San Diego County will be losing access to CalFresh benefits, including the immigrant regulations that change also for SNAP recipients.
And tell me specifically, how many hours will people need to work in order to qualify for CalFresh benefits?
They need to work 40 hours a month. So to report 40 hours a month. 80 hours a month, sorry. I have my numbers mixed. So they have to work 20 hours a week and they have to report those, either do volunteer work or different activities.
So, Angeles, with that in mind, which groups of folks are most likely to be affected by these changes?
Yes, there's two major changes that HR 1 make to CalFresh. Some of them are the work requirements or time limits, which is under this rule, a person is subject to time limits. They can only receive 3 months of benefits every 3 years. So in a period of 3 years, it's only 3 months. And the hours, as Alondra stated, is 20 hours a week. But to be clear, right now, no one is subject in California to these time limits because we had a waiver, and that waiver has now ended in January. And these new time limits are going to start today, actually, June 1st. And the families who are going to be more impacted are veterans, youth living foster care that are 18 years and over, people who are experiencing homelessness, who were before they were exempted from these regulations. Now they are going to be affected. And then, like Alondra mentioned, older adults ages 54 to 64, which had been expanded from previous years.
So, in another group that comes to mind are maybe people who are disabled. Is there some, with this new policy, are there folks who are going to get lost in paperwork and bureaucracy because so much of what they need depends on paperwork from other sources? Exactly.
And just to, I think one important thing to consider is that this is not about work requirement because already 74% of people subject to the time limit are already working. But this is about people getting lost in the paperwork, families not able to prove or not completing the 20 hours a week, families just working in very low-income jobs that are unstable, and they have to change jobs or having difficulties with. Many people are either caring for children or older adults. They're veterans. They're homeless. So a lot of people had very much trouble proving or getting the amount of time that is required.
And I know you've hosted several listening sessions to hear how these changes are affecting families. What are some of the stories you've heard so far?
Yes, so we hosted 4 listening sessions with community members who are impacted by these changes and who are participants of the program. What we're hearing is that families have to make really difficult choices between paying for rent or buying food, buying medicines for older adults. And families are trying to maybe even put their children early to bed so that they don't have to provide an additional meal. And speaking about children, I do want to emphasize that the programs that are specifically helping children, such as school meals, sandbags, are even more critical right now because a lot of families are losing these benefits.
Alondra, tell me more about the food insecurity landscape in San Diego County. I mean, how do programs like CalFresh help meet those needs?
Yes, right now it's been several months now that we are at pandemic levels of hunger. And then these new rules are not going to improve that. Currently, more than 1 in 4 of our neighbors are experiencing nutrition insecurity, which means that they don't have access they cannot afford 3 meals a day. And from this, the children is the highest population that's been affected. 32% of children in San Diego County are already experiencing nutrition insecurity.
And how, because there's so much happening here at once. You have the rising cost of food, and now you have fewer people potentially eligible for benefits. What do you think the situation will look like on the other side of this?
I think it's very alarming. I think because so far we're seeing nutrition security rates are increasing. Also, the areas in the county that do not receive enough food assistance. It's especially areas like University City, El Cajon, and Oceanside that have high nutrition security rates, and then they don't have enough food assistance coming. And it's because the food banks, food pantries, and other food emergency programs are at capacity right now because we are seeing since last year a drop of people participating in CalFresh because they are also scared of the new immigration rates and immigration changes, so they don't want to lose access to these programs. So they are scared. They don't want to lose. They don't want to be deported. So people are just dropping from federal food assistance programs.
Well, Angeles, in April, CalFresh eligibility ended for some non-citizens like refugees and asylees. How do these new rules build on those changes?
Yes, due to H.R. 1 also, this legislation created new exclusions for people who were previously eligible. And those included, like you mentioned, refugees, asylees, traffic survivors, survivors of domestic violence, and individuals that were granted humanitarian parole. So these changes took effect on April 1st, but it is rolling as their new applications come in. Then they will be denied food assistance. So our ask in California is, and this is about over 33,000 humanitarian immigrants here in California. And our ask is for California to do more for these people who are losing their benefits and to include in the budget assistance for them and put them in the state program so that we don't have people who are losing benefits and who have to make really hard choices. And many might end up being homeless or having a variety of challenges due to losing their benefits. And so we're asking California to support them and add them to the CFAB program, which is a state-funded program, which is very similar to CalFresh.
Yeah, I mean, It's astounding to even know the numbers. Estimated 72,000 immigrants with lawful status affected across California with this. And also, I want to just make note in that HR1 is President Donald Trump's one big beautiful bill, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. I know that Alondra touched on this, but can you talk a bit more, Anglis, about how this fear around immigrant enforcement it's affecting the way people are actually navigating systems like CalFresh?
Yes. Families are afraid of reaching out to this program. They're afraid to filling out applications. We're seeing a lot of people dropping off programs, and maybe they or their children are eligible for the program, but due to immigration concerns or concerns of future opportunities for immigration, they are voluntarily declining and not enrolling in the program. And it's in CalFresh, and that includes other programs such as Sunbox and WIC. And so we see this atmosphere in the community of fear and hunger, and creating a lot of issues and harm in our community. So we're asking the governor to help support people and also to provide outreach. As the CDSS is really making a big effort to reach out to families. And so my message for the community is, if you get a letter that you don't understand, please reach out to organizations that can help you, such as the San Diego Hunger Coalition, the food banks, who can help you understand what's happening and if there is any other waivers that are available to your family. And then reach out to other programs such as WIC, school meals, Sunbox, and the food banks too.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, we're going to have all of those links on our website at kpbs.org so that people have access to those resources. Alondra, what's the San Diego Hunger Coalition doing to really spread awareness about the changes going into effect today?
We work with around 500 partners in San Diego County. So we provide trainings, we provide technical assistance, and we also provide data so they know where the highest need is, and they can be strategic about how they allocate their programs and resources. The other thing that we do is our data is also available by electoral district. So when we go and talk with legislators, we bring specific data to their districts so they know exactly who's going to be affected and what else they can be doing. Another thing that I think it's important to highlight and to remember, and that's what we do as well, creating awareness, is that this is not only a problem for the families who are going to be losing benefits. This is a problem for a local economy. According to USDA, for every dollar that's spent, like CalFresh dollar that's spent, $1.79 come back to the local economy. So we are talking about a number between 67,000 and 96,000 people losing their benefits. You can kind of do a multiplier there and see how many millions of dollars we all are going to be affected with, because CalFresh generates jobs, originates also, it gives families the flexibility to spend money on medication or other expenses, bills, and things like that. So this is a problem that is not only for the people who are going to fall off this program, but for all of us.
What else needs to be done, you think, to address the issues of hunger, Anglis, in our communities at a systemic level?
I think California can do several things right now. The first, I can mention three here real quick. The first is that California should protect and strengthen CalFresh access and make sure that implementation of these federal rules does not create harm by providing state-funded benefits. So they can include immigrants and they can include a lot of other people who are losing benefits into the state funded CalFresh. And second, California should advance food for all, because food is a right, and food for all is a campaign to ensure that all income eligible Californians can access food assistance regardless of immigration status. And this is especially urgent right now because the federal changes are excluding more immigrants from food benefits who previously were supported in California. And the third We must continue investing in children to ensure that every child has access to the food they need to grow, to learn, to thrive. And these include investing in school meals, investing in sunbox, and creating policies that make those programs truly accessible. And I can mention one more at the federal level, and that is for the Farm Bill to include a 2-year delay in the cost shift. And this is really complicated. It could be like an entire program, but there is a huge cost shift to a state. And California will have to pay over $2 billion in CalFresh benefit next year. Some states are having a delay of 2 years, and we want California to be one of those states so that we can help California get to the place where they can actually put that money out, and because $2 billion is a huge cost for a state.
All right. Alondra, anything else to add before we get out of here?
Yes, I think like even with these changes, we have identified around 190,000 people in San Diego County that still qualifies for CalFresh. So we want to encourage people to review and reach out to partners, reach out to service providers, and see if they qualify. So that way, everyone in San Diego County can be receiving access to the help that they need.
Well, we'll have a link to all of the resources mentioned during this conversation on our website, and that is, again, kpbs.org. I've been speaking with Alondra Alvarado, President and CEO of the San Diego Hunger Coalition. Alondra, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I've also been speaking with Angeles Nelson, a senior policy advocate at Nourish California. Angeles, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting us.
That's our show for today. I'm your host, Jade Hindman. Thanks for tuning in to Midday Edition. Be sure to have a great day on purpose, everyone.
KPBS On Demand is supported by Alliance San Diego, reminding you to vote early. Return your ballot at any drop box or vote in person at any vote center. And remember, you have the right to vote as long as you're in line on Election Day by 8 p.m. Visit alliancesd.org for more.